Hey everyone, Haley here from The Foiled Plan. I hope you guys are enjoying these Holi-DIY tutorial videos. You'll find me back here every Friday for the first 3 weeks of December, sharing fun tutorials like today's DIY Epoxy Kids Cup, perfect for a stocking stuffer. Be sure to subscribe to Auntie's channel so you don't miss any more awesome Holi-DIY videos. And if you'd like to hang out with me, head over to The Foiled Plan. Now, let's get into the tutorial. So I'm going to take a plastic kids cup from the Dollar Tree, and to prep the surface, I give it a light grit sandpaper sanding. And then I place a piece of electrical tape around the screw top to protect it. And then I take my flat white spray paint and I spray it just to give it a nice, clean looking base so that the glitter stands out. Then I'm going to attach the bottle to the arm of my spinet, and it's only going to fit around the first section of the arm just because it is a smaller bottle, and that's okay. To protect myself, I'm going to put on some nitrile gloves and my mask. I'm using my silicone measuring cup, crafting mat, and glitter in the shade Bing Bong, which are all from shopauntietay.com. You can use my code TheFoiledPlan for 10% off your whole purchase. Now it's time to get started on our epoxy. Epoxy is a two-part process, so it works on a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm first going to start out by measuring 10 milliliters of the resin, which is part 1, and eventually I do set it down on the table. I'm remembering back to my science classes so I can look at everything and I can see the meniscus and make sure that I'm only putting in 10 milliliters. And then I'm going to put another 10 milliliters of the part 2 hardener, which is going to put my total liquid at the 20 milliliter mark on that measuring cup. Once I have the correct amounts, I'm going to use a popsicle stick and I'm going to stir nice and slowly. Just be aware that the faster you stir your epoxy, the more air bubbles you're going to end up with, and it's just going to not give you the best results. So stir nice and slow. I know it looks like I'm stirring fast, but it's just because the video is sped up. If you do still end up with some air bubbles, don't fret, it's okay. We can get those out after they have been poured onto the cup by using our heat tool. You'll know that the epoxy is fully incorporated once you're no longer seeing any cloudiness or lines or striations running through the epoxy. It should be completely clear, and once you are satisfied that it's ready, you can move on to the next step. Now, a lot of times I will start to add the epoxy directly to the cup and then I'll pour the glitter on the cup. You can do that. You can do this so many different ways. It's completely up to you. But for this process, I am actually going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to add the glitter right to the epoxy before I even put it on the cup. So I'm going to take that really pretty Bing Bong color. I just love saying that. How fun is that? Bing Bong. And I'm just going to add the glitter directly to the epoxy. Auntie glitter is all polyester glitter, so a little goes a long way. It's not like just regular crafting glitter, so you don't need a whole lot, and your epoxy is going to be super glittery. Once it's all mixed up, just turn on your cup turner, and then I like to keep one hand completely dry, and then I use my other hand to actually apply the epoxy to the cup, and I'll just use my fingers to sort of move it around. And that way, if I need to touch anything during the process, I have one free hand that doesn't have any epoxy on it. As I mentioned before, if we do end up with some air bubbles after we've applied the epoxy to the cup, we can still get them out if we use our heat tool. Just make sure you move in quick motions. You don't stay in the same spot for too long because you can burn your epoxy. Once I was happy with the application of my epoxy, I decided I wanted to up my glitter game even more. So I placed a piece of white copy paper underneath my spinning cup, and I opened up my bottle of Bing Bong and just started sprinkling little bits of glitter here and there and just really covering the entire cup. Now I'm gonna let my cup continue to spin for about 8 hours while it cures, and after the first hour, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna remove the tape around the top so the epoxy doesn't cure to it. And then also, I'll check on my cup every hour or so following just to make sure everything is still looking good and there's no issues. After it's cured for 8 hours, we can then decide whether or not we want to add a vinyl decal, in which case we would add one more final layer of epoxy to seal that in over top. I'm just leaving this one blank so that it can be customized. I hope you enjoyed this Holi-DIY takeover. I will see you next Friday. Again, my name is Hailey from The Foiled Plan, and that's all I'm gonna say. Bye!